a senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. And with me here in Washington, it's old home week, former White House special counsel to Bill Clinton and author of the new book, The Unmaking of the President, 2016, How FBI Director James Comey Cost Hillary Clinton the presidency. Great to see both of you. All right, I gotta play this soundbite for both of you before we get too far into this segment. From Marco Rubio, Senator Rubio from Florida. He was asked over the weekend about the firing of McCabe. Let's watch.
I don't like the way it happened. He should have been allowed to finish through the weekend. That said, look, there's an Inspector General report that's due and work that's being done. And after he had retired, if that report would have indicated wrongdoing or something that was actionable, there are things that could have been done after the fact. But, 48 hours to go before retirement, I would have certainly done it differently, given the fact there's still this report out there that hasn't come in.
Monica, I can't follow that. I mean, God bless Marco Rubio. I like Marco Rubio, but they did receive, the Office of Professional Responsibility, as I said in the Angle, did receive the findings of the IG report, not public yet, but these are career officials who considered this information, and wrongdoing is wrongdoing. Why should you wait until the guy retires to then say, oh, it was wrongdoing, we're going to try to get his retirement back? I don't get that analysis at all by Rubio, and other Republicans also, went along with that. What's up?
Well, I like and respect Senator Rubio as you do, Laura, but his comments there tell you exactly why Donald Trump is the president of the United States. Because that kind of establishment thinking of protecting one another, the elites protecting each other, whether it's Senator Rubio coming to the defense of Andrew McCabe or whatever the case might be, the American people had had enough of that, because the most distinct and dangerous split in this country that's been going on for a long time, Laura, is less left-right than it is the elites versus everybody else. And we have seen the unprotected class, as Peggy Noonan once very incredibly and extraordinarily called them, and she was right about that. The unprotected class has been in revolt now against the elite ruling class. So Senator Rubio's comments there about, well, he may have committed provable crimes, but he still should have been able to retire with full benefits and with respect. No, we are a nation built on the rule of law. You either have rule of law that's extended and applied to everybody equally, or you don't. And if you don't, then you don't have a country.
There's got to be some consequences. That was the point I tried to make in the Angle. Consequences down the line, whether it's the way the Hillary email investigation, Lanny, was handled, the sanctuary cities, the fast and furious Benghazi. There seems like this pattern of unlawful, improper, conflict of interest-ridden behavior that the Democrats just either ignore, distract from, or look the other way from. And I think that undermines the integrity of the rule of law and a lot of these agencies' work. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, I never thought I'd say the words I agree with Senator Rubio, but I do agree. And most people, I think, get the difference between a decision on the merits, which I think McCabe was deservedly relieved by briefing the press, and he actually explained himself that we at the FBI follow the rules. The problem with James Comey and McCabe is the FBI should not follow its own rules. They have to follow the policies of the Justice Department. But Comey, as I wrote in my book, thinks he gets to define the rules.
Well, Comey said under
McCabe
oath,
gets to define the rules.
Yeah, and we actually have this soundbite. I want to play it for you, Lanny, because you wrote the book on Comey. Let's watch what Jim Comey said on May 3rd, 2017.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Question 2 on relatively related. Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No.
Who's lying, Lanny? One of the two is not telling the truth or has a terrible case of amnesia. But being someone as meticulous as Comey is in his dress and the way he carries himself, how could he misremember that? Or McCabe isn't telling the truth?
Well, first of all, they get to make their own rules because they think that their powers unto themselves. Jim Comey knew that when he wrote that letter on October 28th, he was violating 50 years of Justice Department policy. McCabe knows that you're not allowed to brief the press, anonymously or otherwise, if you're an FBI agent. But he then spoke as if the FBI was an institution apart. That's the problem with Comey, and I think the FBI has to be part of the Justice Department, reporting to the Attorney General, and not a rogue agency that makes its own rules.
Monica, I want to go to the general premise of the angle, which is the Democrats think they're riding high going into November. But I think that innate sense of fairness that the American people have, and I think it's inside of us. It's a part of our DNA. You saw it with what happened with the Clinton investigation. It ended up backfiring on Republicans. What about this, given the fact that so many other bad actors have been given basically carte blanche to walk away?
Well, I think the American people, Laura, know that given enough time, history reveals the truth. And I think we're seeing the truth unfold now. And my understanding is that this initial McCabe firing is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's a lot more to come that's even worse than what we've heard so far. It may also hold true, Laura, that Mr. Comey and Mr. McCabe may be subject to subpoenas, and then we'll see how that'll unfold. But to your broader political question about the midterms, I think that's true. I think most of the American people understand that this country was built on the equal application of the law to everyone equally, not the elites protected, not Mrs. Clinton and James Comey and Barack Obama and Susan Rice.
Or anyone in the Trump administration. I mean, if people are violating the law, they should all be held accountable. I don't care if you're Republican, Independent, or Democrat, down the line.
Correct.
I have no problem with that.
That's what they want to see. And now that we're seeing these investigations unfold, I think it could very well backfire on the Democrats. I don't know how it's going to play out in November, but this idea that this corruption has been so deep in our top law enforcement agencies that are supposed to blindly apply the law, that it was so corrupt and
Lady
so
Justice
partisan.
is a blindfold. It's got the blindfold's got it. All right, we're going to continue this on radio because I got to get Lanny in on radio to talk more about his book. A great segment. And I have a question, guys. Is the deep state really out to get the president? Well, we're going to get the inside scoop from a retired FBI assistant director and a retired agent next. And coming up, the IRS finally fesses up to exploding tax fraud committed by illegal immigrants.